always done digital projects at Junction Arts, and we've had a digital strand of delivery in terms of what we've delivered over the years. I was really interested in this idea of the Our World broadcast because I'd seen the Our World broadcast, and that was the first live satellite TV link-up broadcast in 1967, and 19 countries were linked together through this live satellite broadcast, and they each had a period of time where they could kind of showcase their country. Sort of came up with the idea of trying to reproduce that with community arts organisations and different communities and bringing them together through a live broadcast link-up like Our World. And so yeah, that was the original idea. We're members of something called EMPAF, which stands for the East Midlands Participatory Arts Forum. What I wanted to do with Our Place was to really bring together a diverse range of arts organisations. So in a way, I kind of looked at the EMPAF membership, I looked at those criteria, so different art forms, different communities, and brought together a group, and I did a presentation really to see if they'd be interested. I wasn't expecting everyone to sign up for it. I thought maybe 3 or 4 of them might be interested, but all of the arts organisations, all 6 of them, wanted to be involved.
You can feel very far away from your regional other organisations, the people who you network with, and yeah, it's just a really good chance to do something practical with other organisations and share what we're doing and have it all come together as something that's celebrating the East Midlands as a whole, really.
We've worked alongside Junction Arts for many years, and this seemed like a great opportunity to partner with quite a few different East Midlands based organisations.
We've been part of EMPAF since the beginning, and the opportunity to actually work together on something that, particularly over lockdown, where we have been even isolated within our communities, to feel part of a bigger picture was quite an important process.
With each partner, we asked them to recruit their own artist and to recruit their own participants. So we didn't define what each partner would do, we left it up to the partner themselves. The one unifying link of the whole project was about how you interpret Our Place and what Our Place is to you. As well as a diversity of art forms, each partner was working with a diversity of communities as well, and they interpreted that obviously very, very differently. If I think of the residency that we had at Junction Arts, we were working with the Derbyshire LGBT+ group, and their interpretation of Our Place was the place where they met every week, where they felt comfortable. It was their place to express themselves. And then other partners looked at Our Place in a slightly different way. So if we look at Cirtle Arts, they did their dance fusion piece, and they looked at the city of Derby as a city really, and looked at how Derby has evolved over the years and how immigration has affected Derby, and that's how they interpreted Our Place. They interpreted it on a city-wide basis. And that's the great thing about community arts, because it's a co-creation process. You don't go into the room knowing what's going to come out of the room. It's really about developing a work of art along the way and what comes out of that.
We started really just having a big old chat. So we just talked loads and loads about Chesterfield and about what it is that the group sort of loves and doesn't love and is excited by in the area. And then took all of that, working with an amazing writer called Simon Marshall, to sort of collate all of this information, all of these ideas, to try and turn it into a script that then we made sure the group signed off on and made sure they liked it and had opportunities to tweak and change. Today what we've been doing is our first actual filming day. So we've been taking all of the ideas that over 5 weeks we've been taking from this amazing group of people. And today's the first day of actually sort of putting it on screen and sort of getting it up. So we're doing lots of close-up shots, some voiceover, some conga lining, some silly dancing. And currently my phone is on loan as they're running around the building with it, taking secret shots that we'll see much later on.
Learning how stuff works, and like learning how you go from writing just some random stuff to like actually making things. This is what I want to do when I'm older, so it's cool to do it now.
Throwing stuff around and getting to write my own stuff for the first time. I'm a science man, I am, but I've enjoyed this so much. It's actually...
You're ruining my perfect balance.
Cert Arts contacted us and we got together, had a meeting, and yeah, really clicked. The performance will be at the Museum of Making here in Derby, and we'll bring together our Ukrainian Cossack dancing with the Indian Bhangra dancing and create a fusion piece here in Derby.
When Gerber approached me and Vlad to take this project on, we thought there are similarities between Bhangra dancing and Ukrainian Cossack dancing. We didn't realise how similar some of it is. Yes, there are differences, the music is different, but it's amazing how we've managed to get together, because some of the steps are very similar, some of the costumes very similar.
Ukrainians have been part of Derby's history for the last 70 years. Like many migrants following World War II, where they would work in mills and factories. So Derby, with being such an industrial city, particularly back then, attracted many Ukrainians. Many of them grouped together. They bought a Ukrainian club where we'd come together, and yeah, since the 50s we've been involved in Derby's multicultural scene.
6, 7, 8, hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
People travelled from Punjab to Derby, settled here, worked here, set up businesses, set up homes, families, and also contributed to the build of Derby with industry and also commerce and all that. So it's basically a combination of a lot of things all coming together. Bhangra is very much a folk dance which follows beat and rhythm, so it's very strong as the main format.
Cossacks in Ukraine would practice for their fighting through dancing, so you'll see a lot of kicking steps and performances with swords, which is something that they would use when they would go out to battle. Both groups clearly enjoy dancing, and so to be able to collaborate with another group, bringing something, experience something different, I think we sort of find that we're enjoying dancing even more. It's something new, something very interesting for us to perform.
It's all industry, about making of Derby, and it's very much about how our process went as well. We came together and we built something. Now we're going to share it with people, and that's a bit like Derby's industry as well. So it's coming together, building and sharing.
One, two, three, and.
We thought music would be a really good art form to use, as it would be an opportunity for the young people to explore ideas around the place where they live, things they like about the place where they live, things that make them feel safe. The district has a lot of heritage, so a lot of the time, a lot of the emphasis is upon looking back. So we wanted to work with the young people to look at the district now and really think about what their ideas are around the district. But also it was really lovely because some of the heritage did come out of that, and they started talking about grandparents and actually started doing a few interviews. So there's snippets in the song that they've produced of grandparents and significant older people in their lives, talking about their childhood, growing up, what it used to be like in the district. The young people went into workshops to make a music track of their own called Grandma's House. They wrote lyrics and melodies and recorded the whole track. We then got together with filmmaker Chris Bevan and we made a music video based around the track. So in the track there's lots of imagery around Grandma's house, the regeneration of the district. We had like quite a balance between the young people to be able to make and represent parts of the song themselves, and then going out and finding things that reflected the song outside as well.
Working on Our Place with People Express has been really fun because like I got to do opportunities and things like that. We went down to my house where we went and saw the horses and put some things around in the garden and filmed the fields a little bit.
It's quite good because we did it over several days and it's quite quick how we got it all together. It's worked out really well.
I found it really interesting and enjoyable and really fun because I met lots of new people and did something that's out of my comfort zone, and I really enjoyed it.
You see, I need to make this money, but I'm in love with music. I'm not chasing.
Our place presented an opportunity for some of our young people to get involved in making videos, because the visuals obviously as part of music is quite important. They have a very strong sense of belonging to their particular city, and when you're that age you rep your city, don't you? You rep your ends. And so I think that was important to them.
We made 3 separate videos. Videos are very important, particularly over lockdown when gigs haven't happened. And so we wanted to give young people who've been making music busily over the past few years an opportunity to make a high quality music video that would support their musicality and their publicity and their confidence.
She wanna mess with man, I'm out here chasing pop bands. I'll do it for my dad, I'll do it for my fam. I'll go, won't grab that cash.
We brought in a filmmaker called Corinne West to come in and assist on the project. She's brilliant. She's just so relaxed, so she can relate to the young people, and the young people relate to her. She's got a very good energy. I'm all about energy, and her energy's great. It was very eye-opening for all of the young people involved, actually, to see the level of planning and the level of work that needs to go in to shooting a 2-3 minute video.
LC, we're kicking old school. DJs on the decks, no Pro Tools, old school. B-boys dancing, MCs rapping, the beat ice with the paint, keep it splashing.
It's important for them to represent where they're from to the wider world. For 2 of them, it's their first ever video. Just being involved in that process has fueled their zest for doing it. They've done it now once, and now they just want to keep doing it and keep doing it.
Yeah, I'm the fire spitter.
We're in the hub in Sleaford, which is sort of like the heart of Lincolnshire, I want to say. Lincolnshire is a really massive county, and we decided to give online workshops just as much as face-to-face workshops, so that we are not sort of stopping anybody to get involved. A lot of people have changed the way that they're doing things during COVID. They have maybe started baking bread, or they have started, sort of gardening, or any other little things that they might have never done before because they were furloughed, or they couldn't see anybody, or they had to isolate for whatever reasons. An apron is what they all use, to protect yourself, but also to protect yourself from this horrible virus that brings us and gets us into that situation. So a brilliant kind of a backdrop for creative activities. You always get the best ideas from the artists that we work with, so we had some really lovely ideas coming back from Fiona Richards, who we then selected to be part of this project, and she eased people into it, sort of finding the stories that they wanted to showcase on their aprons, and that was the first workshop was all about that.
Everybody was just so lovely, and we all were helping each other out and encouraging each other to do different things, to think about something else. If somebody said an idea, you might put in an idea back to them, then they think, yeah, that's a good idea. So there was a lot of interaction along those lines, and over the few weeks, the 6 weeks, we became really good friends, and I know a few more of the participants are going to actually come to the craft club when it starts up again. So we'll be able to meet up again, which will be fantastic.
I was an online participant, so I had 3 online workshops that were delivered over 3 weeks, and then one opportunity to come into the centre in person and kind of finish things off, get together and see what everyone else had achieved across those workshops and get everything prepared for its kind of final submission.
The project also started off with Maria Manning actually developing an apron, and everybody could make their own apron. We had another artist, Kelly Barfoot, coming in to show us a new technique, especially the technique of blueprints on textiles, where you use the sunlight to actually develop the work of the textiles, and they all have this beautiful blue imprint, and that is something that also unites all of the aprons. Every apron will have a little bit of a cyanotype textile.
We have had a brilliant fun today. It's been a bit crazy. We've been all over the place, but we've had a great time, and I think they felt really engaged with the process, and they really connected to the printing in making a print in the here and now in our place. They've brought with them items to use, and they've also gone and found items as well around, and they've loved it.
I've done things that I haven't done before. Some of them I'll very much choose to do again and continue, you know, with my own creative endeavours. And overall, I guess, a sense that for me, my place is somewhere that I can be creative and hopefully somewhere that I can contribute from as well.
Scared me outside. No one come near me. I'm in my safe place.
When we first got back together with people that we hadn't seen for quite a long time at Easter, we'd just been on this series of walks because it was still difficult to be indoors. One day we'd be up a hill, and then the next day we'd be up another hill and be able to see where we were the day before, like across the town. And we just started thinking that that is a really unusual thing, and it's the thing about the High Peak where you can do that in any town really here. So when the Our Place theme sort of started to settle, I thought, well, that is something that's really unusual to us. And it is something that young people around here really value, being able to go out of their town and go out into the countryside and walk. And I hope they begin to realise that they're very lucky and very unusual in being able to do that. We wrote up that theme into a brief, which we then just published out there. Leo and Kaylee put together this idea around basically a music video but using VR, and it's gone down so well. Everybody's like really can't wait to get on it. Basically the video will fly over this landscape and then set down in these different locations where they've created the artwork, and then there'll be a song over it as well.
We have 6 headsets here, and we're introducing the young people to virtual reality. They get to put on the headsets for the first time, and we teach them how to paint. So they kind of paint through the air, and over the course of the next couple of weeks we'll be going deeper into the different painting possibilities in virtual reality. And so today they're just working out that kind of like amazing first moment where they get to paint for the first time. By the end of it, they'll really have a concrete video they can share of things that they've created.
I've come in here to teach how to use the application Tilt Brush in VR and teach everyone how to paint and create immersive artwork. The final outcome, which will combine all these types of art that they're participating in, will create something that will ultimately represent them as a community, which I think is really nice, and the VR will just kind of add that alternative visual, I think, because it's so immersive and you know that it's a place that each person was in by themselves. And when they create that artwork, it's such a personal feeling, being in Tilt Brush on your own and not having pressure of anyone like looking in on you drawing. Just knowing that sort of like intimate element of each person having that experience and then that all coming together, I think is a good way to sort of combine all those feelings and represent everyone.
What do you think?
I just found it amazing because like one second I've got like a bonfire sort of thing that I've sorted out, like with smoke and stars and everything, and the next second I'm here and I felt like I was at an actual bonfire with like the stars and stuff. And then when you said yeah, take off the VR, and I'm like, how on earth is yeah, it's just really, really cool. And really
sorry. When you just hold that button and then move it, it feels like, when I looked at the ground, it looked like space. Because it was like purple and blue and black. And it's just really good. Well, yes. Just weird.
Cool.
Whenever I took it off, it just felt really different. Like I just stepped into another world again.
One thing that's very exciting for me is because they're all quite young, is knowing that quite early on in their life they will have had access to virtual reality. At the moment it's a really expensive medium, and even though you can be so creative in it, most people don't get the chance to start painting in it and start being creative in it yet. And I'm excited for these people because they have.
Our place is rebellious and creative. When Alma decided to set up the Young Producers, it was very much people from lots of different backgrounds. It's something you can dip in and out of and kind of get involved in the different projects that you like. And we've decided to do the Our Place project all together as a group and make a film that really represents us, because it's very diverse. We've got a lot of different art forms being represented.
It's been a really great process. The workshops have been really, really helpful. We picked Luke to work with us, and he's done a really good job of teaching us like the technical and professional side of filmmaking, and I think it's been really useful. I feel like if different jobs or anything, creative jobs in that sort of field, it's opened up a bit more of the field. Just even knowing the language and things that goes behind filmmaking has been really helpful. And then also a lot of our own ideas and collaborating together and bouncing ideas off each other as a group, and which is the usual Young Producers format of how we sort of make and establish projects.
We've kind of tried to make lots of mood boards and things so that we can visualise each other's films and help each other decide how it's going to work, because we've got some that are filmed on location, we've got one that's filmed here at City Arts. There's a lot of different things going on, and a lot of different kinds of filming that we want to do. We're learning a lot about different shots and things, so we're trying to bring it all together.
I think it was really interesting to have a project that's working in collaboration with the other arts organisations around the East Midlands, and I always think that the East Midlands needs to work more together as a network, so it's always nice to celebrate that as well.
The vision was to have this space online where all of the communities could tune in at a certain point and see their work and share their work with other communities. So it was about mixing up as well, mixing up the work that was produced. So the great thing about the final broadcast was, you had visual arts, you had textiles, you had music, you had all different types of art forms and all different types of communities as well. You had older people, you had younger people, and there was a real diversity with what was produced. And then in the final broadcast, the way that those are edited together and placed alongside of each other really does show the kind of diversity of these communities within the East Midlands. One of the aims of the project was to ensure that we employed lots of freelance artists, that we set up these residencies. And I think what's been great, one of the great outcomes of the project, is that through the project more than 40 different artists and freelancers have been employed within the project. We've had, hundreds of participants involved in it as well. It's created a new partnership. It's the first time we've all worked together, the 7 partners, on a project like this. I think we're only now starting to realise what the legacy is and all of the added on outcomes really. It's achieved more than we'd set out for at the beginning, which is great. And what we want to do is we want to build on that. So this initial version of Our Place was always almost like a pilot project. It was looking at partners and it was looking at communities in the East Midlands. That was phase one of Our Place. What we want to do now is to roll that out on a wider scale. So we want to look at perhaps reproducing that nationally, but using this model of a kind of an online broadcast to bring it together. And there's no reason why we couldn't take this, a stage further and develop an international Our Place. And of course, at that point, we are actually getting to the point where we are reproducing our world, which was the initial starting point for this project. So we're hoping that within the next few years, we get to that point where we can roll this out on an international scale.